Hi, Midsummer. This is Juju Blackman. I am just out on my walk this morning. Well, this afternoon. I wake up in the afternoon, so kind of feels like morning. But anyway, hi. So I know it's been a while since I've posted a video, since we've done a lesson. But honestly, I've been learning just like y'all. And so the Spirit has been talking to me a little bit, and Spirit is like, let's go ahead and film this lesson. And I decided to do it outside because it's a perfect place to talk about the inspiration for today's video and lesson, which is death. And I know y'all are wondering, how could we be talking about death out here in this beautiful park and on this beautiful day? It's a beautiful day. It's a little cloudy, but it's still a beautiful day. But yeah, today we are gonna get into death. And what's so interesting about this conversation about death is that what's giving me the passion and the drive to do it is all the naysay about African traditional religions and spiritualities and religions outside of Christianity in general. And of course, when you're practicing things like African traditional religions, you run into some naysay. And it's usually about, oh, you're inviting demons and death into your life, or you're cursing yourself. I fucking love it. You know I love being the villain. You know I love to show up when chauvinists are acting out. And so let's talk about death. What does that actually mean? What does it look like? What is to be cursed? What does that look like? What do demons look like? What does demonology look like? And you can really just debunk a lot of the naysay and a lot of the bullshit about death and demonology and curses and things of that nature when you talk about nature. And the reason why we're outside is because one of the main sources that you can go to, or the main topics that you can go to when you want to learn about life and death in any context, in a social context or even in a more scientific or physical context, is to talk about mushrooms and what better place, where better do mushrooms grow than outside? All of the naysay, all of the magic and the metaphysics can be simply summed up in mushrooms. That's it. Fungus. Mycelium. But you know, when the dinosaurs went extinct and those bodies gave way to the earth, fungus came up, vegetation came up, new life, new species. Fungus is all around us. This is life and death. And the science in that, when you get into that, when you start learning about fungus and when you start learning about plants, when you start learning more about mycelium, and you realize just how permeated it is in life. Anything that's growing around you, plants, yourself, your body, it's all fungus. It's all about fungus growth. Most of our medicine, penicillin, herbal medicine, which you should just be eating plants and taking part in herbal medicine anyway. This is all fungus. This is all This is all life and death. And we can take this into another arena. We can take it into a more social aspect when you're thinking about life and death and when you're thinking about fungus. But I had this wild thought, stick with me here. But I was like, it kind of feels like how marginalized people are treated in the world. You set up these different groups and you have these different marginalized groups that can basically be identified as people who are experiencing social death. And the information and sort of the culture that derives from those groups who are quote unquote identified as the socially dead. To me, those parallels between fungus and between marginalized people and how the world treats marginalized people, sort of putting this pressure on them and putting them within these confines of these social deaths so that they create this sort of culture that they then have to sell back to the world that's putting that pressure on them. Sounds a lot like cultivating mushrooms and fungus to me, which then provides the medicine, the literature, the protest language, that larger world who is oppressing those marginalized social death groups. Are y'all sticking with me? So when people tell you, oh, you can't practice spirituality, you can't venerate spirit and you can't talk to your ancestors and you shouldn't play with ATRs because you might be invoking a curse, or you may be invoking some trickster spirits into your life. That kind of, I don't know who it serves, but you've got to sort of be a scientist about this. It's just like studying fungus. Yeah, some fungus will kill you. Some mushrooms can kill you. Yeah, so you have to be careful. But the simple matter of fact is that mushrooms are the basis of life. Fungus is the basis of life. This is pentacle magic. It's earth magic. People who tend to know how to nurture plants, people who know the rate at which the roots of plants grow, they tend to have a leg up, and they tend to be able to know how to cultivate money in that sense as well. So we'll get into this a little bit more. But this is some content that I know y'all been waiting for. I haven't posted a video in a while. So comment, talk to me about it on Twitter. Message me if you want to ask me a question that you don't necessarily want others to see. And we'll kind of get Midsummer back up and running and going again. But that's all I have for y'all today. I'm going to finish my walk. So thank you for joining me. Now is probably the perfect time to go and look up mycelium and look up mushrooms and how fungus took over the earth after the dinosaurs went extinct. Get into your pentacle bag, get into your pentacle magic. And I'll see y'all later.